Very good morning. Happy Friday, everybody. It is Trade Live with IG with myself and
Angeline. Welcome, Trader friends. It is Friday Retro Remix with myself and Rich. So good to have you back after the week that we've had.
What a week. What a week. Well, what is going on in the NASDAQ? Wow. That was a proper move yesterday. Let's have a quick look. We're going straight into this because the NASDAQ is at very, very key levels. Our technical expert, Angeline, MSTR?
MSTA.
MSTA.
Do you know people on the volatility desk? Exactly. Elliot came over to me and said, what does this mean? Do I have to call you Mr. Ong now?
So Angie's going to be going through her channels because the NASDAQ is about 7 to 8 points away from testing a very, very important level. It's 25,200 was the level yesterday. It smashed through it. And now it's on its way to 24,800. We're going to be covering that and more. What else is coming up on today's show?
We have loads on the menu. We've got to obviously guess the charts. Thank you everyone on Discord. If you saw it and voted, I saw it. What a wonderful bunch of people that were talking about new genres of music. And so, you know, some people came up with classical music, not naming names, someone who's in the analyst crew. He made me do it, people. And then also I came up with Miriam Makeba and some Queen. Others said Boys to Men.
This is for Guess the Chart, right?
Guess the Chart song.
Got it.
And then we got Luke Moore, Lucky Luke, coming on board with Rich for Fast Markets whilst I get the scene ready for Bill Blaine.
And we've got, two special guests. The first, Bill Blaine, but who is coming up at 9:10, Angeline?
I wonder who. I wonder. Is it someone that we know?
It's on the screen.
I am trying to trigger you, Phil. We have been waiting for this moment. He's very easily triggered, Phil. Very easily triggered.
Were you out last night?
No, I wasn't.
You have walked it. Ever since I walked in this morning, you're like, I'm at the coffee machine. Right across the trading floor.
It's because we've got a new coffee machine. I'm so excited to see Paul Cooper maturing. That's right. Why.
Maturing. But you I'm a bit sensitive this morning.
Oh.
Big dinner yesterday.
Dinner, night out on the lash after the podcast.
Those Thursdays are long gone.
Oh.
But it was about as close as it gets. We were out to 10:30.
Nice.
But it was one of those great dinners that we started at 6. We met at 6, had a couple of drinks. And then this is my friend Max from Ambitious House. Mm-hmm. And he sets up young professionals.
Like us.
Like us, yeah.
Like us.
Young professionals who don't know each other, but he curates groups that he thinks will get on. And there was 6 of us, and it was an incredible discussion over dinner. And it was a round table, so everybody was contributing. And there was no, what would you call them? Lame ducks?
Lame ducks. Wet blankets?
There was, no wet blankets. It was a real interesting discussion. So good morning to everyone this morning. I did say I'd get them to tune in. Dream team there. We had an American, a Canadian, and then three Brits.
It sounds like a joke.
And a Dutch girl.
Oh, and a Dutch girl.
Swiss Dutch.
There's always a Dutch.
Yeah.
Anywhere.
So good stories, great food. Went to a Greek restaurant called Meraki. And really good. But we did have a couple of bottles of red, so you can probably hear it in my voice this morning. Now,
my question to you, are we going to overnight action first, or are we going to talk about NASDAQ first?
I think NASDAQ will be part of overnight action. Let's go. Right, so very, very messy day yesterday. Let's look. Of course, our 24-hour prices still incorporates that. Tesla down 8.6, Walt Disney down 8, Palantir.
Pain.
Intel, AMD, Nvidia down 4.5. Oracle, I got smashed on Oracle. That's the only one I own. But at last, it's happening. It's happening, people.
The bear is very happy here. Rich is very happy.
All the fluff, all the froth is getting absolutely wiped out of this market. Rigetti now down to $23. So Rigetti down 50% since its peak. We've got MP Materials down 40% from its peak. So as we highlighted, it wasn't a general bubble across the market. It was a bubble in quantum computing, in rare earths, in some of the nuclear stocks, and in the capex for AI. And you can see now, ahead of NVIDIA results on Wednesday, we are at a very important level, aren't we, Ange?
It is very important. Look at the chart here. I've been looking at this morning, Rich and myself, ahead of coming in here. And we are at a very critical point here because you can see that it's about to touch the yellow trend line that I have shown you there. And what we're actually seeing here is
so what level's it at then?
Right now, 24,880, but key support.
No, what is the trend line?
Oh, this.
Yeah.
Let's call it 24,740.
So we're 140 points away from what you think is a long-term line.
Yeah, and we cross and close below this, then it's going to be an interesting.
Yeah, where does it go next?
Well, then for me, in my humble opinion, this is not trading advice, people, then I'd be looking for it to then breach that 100 EMA. Pay attention to the support levels here because they are all lines of what I call health lines. The 200 is my ultimate health line there. Anything, if price action starts getting closer and closer to that, then we are looking for a very messy time.
What level's that, Ange? The 200-day moving average?
That is at 23,300.
Okay, so a 10% move lower from here. You think if we breach 24,700, then we go down 10%?
That is a risk. It's not a guarantee, but,
that's what the technical's telling you.
A risk.
Right, so massive day then. So that is 50 basis points lower is Angeline's line where the support is. I've seen even higher than that. I've seen 24,800. So it depends which part of the line you take, doesn't it? But that's within 30 basis points of each other. So this is a huge day. It's one of those days that I think, with us already down 50 basis points on top of the falls from yesterday, either you're going to get a massive reversal at one point and we're going to finish 1.5% higher from here, or it could be a down 4% day.
That's right. And also concurring with Rich, what we're seeing here, no matter which way you cut it, is that the NASDAQ is in short-term corrective phase. So this evening is going to be key, very key.
So cancel your plans for tonight.
Are you going
to your screen?
Are you going to Ricky Gervais tonight, or is that tomorrow?
That was last Saturday.
Oh, last Saturday.
Come on, Ange, catch up.
I didn't have this coffee last week, you see.
Right, so where are we on the other markets, the important ones? FTSE off its high, but I think that's probably unchanged on the week, isn't it? FTSE down to 9,727. My hats are safe for now. They get delivered today, Angeline. FTSE 10,000.
Safe for now.
So thank goodness we hadn't missed it.
The FTSE has just been on such a tear. Really incredible. And the Nikkei as well. Oof. But yet again, today is going to be critical.
Go on, what's that telling you?
This as well is showing signs of a bit of exhaustion. It's, when it starts getting closer to 20, and on Friday, especially you heard Axel and Chris and I talking yesterday. What is important is to see whether it closes on the daily below on a Friday or above, at the end of play today. This just gives you an idea of where momentum is heading. So for those of you who are still long the FTSE, it's time to make sure that you're not, you don't have your eye off the ball.
Is Bitcoin giving us a sign on where we're going? Bitcoin. Horrible price action overnight. That is well and truly broken that 100,000 level. And where does that go next, Ange?
It's currently looking like it's still on a downward trend. If you put your cursor to the left, you'll see an area of support where he's, over there.
It's right here, isn't it?
No, yeah, but if it breaches that, then we might go further below where you see the tops if you draw a rectangular area.
So down. Well, tell you what. Why don't you have a little crack at drawing that while I take everybody through the morning news. So let's have a look at what the Times is saying this morning. Well, look at that. M&S going hard in on my. They must think I'm their target consumer.
Oh, I sent you this message yesterday, didn't I?
Did you?
Yes, but you're too busy on your podcast. Rich is going to fill us in on what the latest podcast. You're going to have a sneak peek, aren't you? Sneak preview for your trader friends. But yes, yesterday, I sent this to you and to Phil as well.
What is it, the advert?
No, not the advert, Michael Burry.
I thought you were talking about Marks and Spencer. Oh, sorry, no, I know you sent me this yesterday, yeah.
And the fact that he's liquidated. I sent the, the thing that he signed to say, I've got it wrong, people. I'm going to liquidate this fund.
No, he hasn't. He hasn't said he's got it wrong.
He said.
He hasn't said he's got it wrong. He says the market is not something that he recognises anymore.
Yes, it's not obeying traditional. Yeah. I.e., I got it wrong, guys. I'm not.
Which is usually.
He says he doesn't understand
a flag at the top of the market.
Yes, it is.
It happened about 5 years ago. There was a big long short fund that was based in London, very smart managers, and they said, right, we're just not playing this game anymore. This is bullshit. All the algorithms and the momentum. And of course, 2 months later, the COVID happened, and that was the end of all the momentum investing. So, this when somebody like Burry turns around and says, this market's just not for me anymore, then it's an important thing to pay attention to for sure.
Yeah.
Right, what else is on the Sunday Times then? Well, of course, it's Disney. Angie's going to take us through Disney sales in a minute, but the market did not like it. Down 7% yesterday. As I'm not surprised with the prices. Have you taken Emma to Disney?
I have, and we're a big Disney family. I've only been 5 times. Not with Emma, I might add. It was with my own family. I do like Disney, but I have not got a position in it. I think that it's still too early. It has lost its way. It was a bit late to the streaming Disney Plus space.
They actually, they actually did all right in streaming. So streaming, they added 12.5 million customers. The problem is how much it's going to cost to make the new avatar. So that's hitting their profit line. And then the parks are just too expensive.
They are too expensive. And have you seen the Q Rage? The Disney Q Rage, you can find it all over TikTok and Instagram and everything. The thing with Disney is it was trying to be very, very clever. And to a certain extent, it was. There you go. There you have it. And so it had a huge push marketing-wise, I was told, on the inside to attract families, but also the new millennials and the new singletons and the LGBTQ plus crowd. But what this then caused was a huge influx of visitors. And it then meant that its core base, those families with kids and everything, got squeezed out because they couldn't get to the rides they wanted. The queues are too long. If you don't believe me, trader friends, look it up on YouTube, look up Q Rage. But
I don't think that's why the numbers have been hit, right?
It's also Avatar. It's everything. It had a management, nightmare as well. I think they're trying to fix that right now. But, lower earnings in terms of all its movies. It's also had pushback because, don't forget, Disney was behind the Lightyear franchise and was pushing the whole LGBTQ plus message. And then lo and behold, Trump 2.0 came about. So it's had to really change its thinking behind that. It is, though, trying to...
I was assuming there was something wrong with the microphone. Hopefully you're going to turn Angie's off at some point.
Yes, that's the thing about Disney. You have to understand that its headwinds at the moment far offset what it's doing right.
Right. So the profits at the television unit fell 21%, 391 million, and the streaming unit that rose 39% to 352 million. As I said, Disney added 12.5 million subscribers to Disney Plus and Hulu, so that's up to 196 million. Of course, Iger had to get artificial intelligence in there, didn't he? He said he was excited about the use of AI and Disney Plus as a portal for online commerce. So, you know, pushing, he had to mention it, didn't he? But I don't know, how much does AI come into the rides and Space Mountain and the Avatar? I don't see quite how that changes the world there.
They're trying to sell you more. So Disney has bought the rights to a product which allows them to sell to you in real time as you're waiting in these queues. They like the queues because eventually they're going to project bespoke T-shirts and hats on you. So if you're on the Lightyear ride, you can just touch your shoulder looking at the mirror in front of you. And by the end of the ride, you've got a Buzz Lightyear shirt that says Rich McDonald rocks. Yeah? Without you having to wait. Meanwhile, they've fleeced and taken the money out of your account with you just touching your left shoulder. They're also looking at...
But that's like Amazon Fresh you're talking about.
Well, yeah, which failed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Which failed. The other thing that I feel that Disney has lost its way because it's trying to use AI and the like. They're trying, and I agree with the Amazon Fresh failing, and I think this is likely if Disney is not careful with its AI. It wants to get rid. Have you been to a Disneyland?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
About 7 times.
There you go. It wants to get rid of its human actors because they cost too much in their parks.
Yeah.
And so they want to replace it with AI animation characters that interact with you. Look it up.
But this wasn't on the call last night, right?
No, it wasn't on the call. This is on analyst calls that talk about the outlook for this stock.
Yeah.
I mean, profit at its traditional television unit also fell more than 20%.
Yeah, but at least that was more in line with numbers. It was the overall warning. Right, let's look at what else. There's a really good deep dive into Antofagasta and an interview with its boss, the first interview that he has given in 10 years. So the FT journalist met him in a nice Chilean restaurant in London, and you can see the rocks in the background there, why it was chosen. But it's look, really interesting company, and it's betting big on copper. So if you've got time today, well worth the read of that, and you get a feel for this company, which is a really fascinating company because it's owned by a family, and they've never showed any interest in selling or they want the big dividends along with you, so you're kind of protected there as a shareholder. So that's a good one to look at. Right, and what else have we got?
Arigada means deep-rooted. That CEO. Speaking of mining, we also have just off the press, so you guys are hearing it first. Bernard Aylward, the CEO of Codal Minerals, has agreed to come on air with us next week. Managed to drag him. Bill's in my ear going, when? He's just confirmed that he will try and come in on Thursday next week.
What's the company, sorry?
It is Codal Minerals. So I'm going to put this up on my chart here for you. We talked about this with John Mayer, you met on Tuesday from SP Angel, and John and I was saying I was quite concerned for Bernard Aylward, and he must have heard me because of Codal having issues, big problems in Mali. I mean, this is a stock and pain. I'd really like to get Bernard's view on that. And so he is going to stop and give us a few precious minutes of his time, and it's going to be on Thursday next week.
And what do they mine? What kind of commodity?
They mine lithium. They also have a bit of gold, but mainly lithium.
Right. Interesting. Good stuff. Right. I'd say there's a question I spotted in the chat there about an Oracle options position. Yeah, RK.
Oh, you're an Oracle, aren't you?
I am. I'm definitely. So I can.
Have a look at Oracle.
Feel your pain there. So I will talk about that at the 9 a.m. segment. Or actually, no, Luke and I can talk about it in fast markets. So that's in about 25 minutes time. We'll go through that with you. And yeah, if you can just send us a bit more details, then that will help us with the answer your question as well.
Good morning, Jessie14. Good morning, Money Geek 85 as well. Maturin, I know you've been up very early this morning. Our Sachs, is it Netflix split today? Time to sell? I'm not in Netflix because, yes. Are you in Netflix, Rich?
I was short a put and I closed it yesterday in the sell-off.
Away from numbers, good morning to you as well. Talking tasty there. And RK saying thanks for the replies. I think I saw Jugger earlier on too, but the chat is so full that it's really moving at great speed there. My goodness me. Phil, you tell us in our ear who's... Are you concerned about your incoming flight? Apparently, this whole... air traffic controllers missing 2 full paychecks. You're coming up for a trip soon, aren't you, Rich?
Nothing
you booked
booked.
Your flights yet?
Nope, nothing booked yet. But nowhere near America, so I'm sure it'll be fine.
Good.
Are we getting any data today?
Let me check. So, let's have a look at the chart for data.
It doesn't look like it. No, this is so. Yeah, there's nothing there at 1:30, the usual time. So now yesterday, why did we start sell off yesterday? Well, it was on. You can take that off, guys. It was on Fed speak. So one of the Fed voters said that they expect it's going to be pretty high bar for further rate cuts, and we can see that in the Fed watch now. So down to 52% chance for a cut now in December. In January, we're talking about only a 20% chance for 2 cuts. Excuse me. And then by March next year, the pricing is really just for 1 more cut. And a 17% chance for no more cuts by March next year. So huge changes there. Of course, will that change once we actually start to see data again? That's the big question.
Yeah. And that's right. We were talking about this with Chris yesterday. We can't, with data, you can't just flick a switch and expect to have it come online immediately. So, we heard JP saying that if you're driving through a fog, the natural reaction is to slow down. And perhaps the data or the lack of it at the moment might give the Fed some ammunition, as we saw, mirrored there on the CME Fed Watch tool, that when the White House calls, it might give them some ammunition to say, hang on a minute, we don't have clarity just yet.
But we've got a month until the next meeting, so I assume we'll start to get some proper data through, and we'll know. So Treasuries, where are the rates? The 10-year at 4.12, 4.12% on the 10-year. 2-year, the short end 3.59% this morning, and that 30 years at 4.7. But of course, we haven't talked about the biggest news of the day. Everybody that gets a paycheck still in the UK can breathe a little bit easier this morning, as Rachel Reeves is no longer considering income tax hikes.
The U-turn of the U-turn of the U-turn.
She thought about it for a couple of weeks and then decided not to. However, some eagle-eyed viewer spotted on her papers coming out of Whitehall that the word threshold was on one of them. So there is now speculation that the threshold for the higher tax rate will be lowered. So you'll be paying, is it 40, 42, 40%. You'll be paying, neither of us, no, we don't get paid enough.
Clearly.
You will be paying 40% from a lower rate now. That is one thing that is being discussed, which, hit the high earners, not the masses.
One thing's for certain, Rich, is that everyone is saying she is doing such a great job
of communication.
Especially if, ta-da, take my screen, if you are looking at my screen right now, everyone...
Oh dear.
It made me
Apologies
chuckle.
to Rachel if you're watching.
Apologies to Rachel if you're watching, but this was
Please
coming.
don't increase any taxes on.
Please don't increase any, yeah, especially. But that was something that made me chuckle this week because the U-turn after U-turn, many of my contacts in the Middle East and especially in Dubai and Abu Dhabi sent that to me and it made me chuckle, which was much needed as it's been a very long week.
Right, let's look at the times now. So I talked about Marks and Spencer's. Look at the adverts I'm getting now. This is now just taking the P, isn't it? Age UK.
Clearly, Rich.
What on earth is going on with my targeted ads?
What have you been searching? What have you done to your algo? How to retire?
I'm so cold, I don't know what to do anymore.
Oh my goodness me. That's you on King's Road. Jugga, there you are. Good morning, good morning. And Parky 1977. High rates in Scotland, but not England. Loads of things to look out for this morning as well. We've got Brent crude jumping after that Ukrainian strike. Also taking a look elsewhere, we've got Siemens Energy. I think they raised their outlook. Allianz lifted their profit targets as well. Richemont, I'm going to keep an eye on that. First half sales and constant exchange rates.
It's now Steve and Funky Gibbon have noticed what was on.
Are you feeling lonely, Rick?
Yeah, that's very good of you. That was one of the discussions at the dinner table with Ambitious House last night. Was men being able to talk and express themselves and express their feelings, because the normal conversation in the pub is, of course,
you express it every day.
Do you see the football? You know, like just very surface level kind of chat. But there was a lot more sort of emphasis nowadays on men speaking to each other, and you're seeing it everywhere. There was an ex-footballer that came out and announced to the stadium the other day, and he said, "Look, the two of you have probably been sitting next to each other for 2 hours, and have you asked how they're doing?" So it is, it's especially when we've got a community of 100 people, which I think 95%
more
are
than
probably,
that. Aren't we like at 160?
Well, sorry, 116 people, mostly men, to be fair, probably 95% men.
What are you saying about me? And Arsax and Jesse.
Well, that's why I'm saying 95% and not 100%. Yeah, so it's certainly, if there is anybody out there that is feeling any stress or
Please do reach out.
We see the losses. It's tough time when stocks are moving like this. We talking about losses. I know the feeling in that Oracle position as well, because it's one that I had on, and we'll talk about that after 8. But if anybody is feeling the stress from any of their P&L's losses, then reach out, richard.mcdonald@ig.com, and be very happy to chat. But that is not a picture of me in the on the Age UK website.
Don't forget, you can also reach us on ask@ig.com as well. The lines are open, and you can hear and speak to the people on the chat that we always answer. It might take us a while, but we always answer. Why is Maturin saying that's Mini Cooper's hat?
We'll come back to that. We'll see you in 2 minutes to break.
Hello, I'm Axel Rudolph, Senior Technical Analyst at IG and Fellow of the Society of Technical Analysts with over 30 years experience in trading the financial markets. Every Monday I break down a carefully selected trade setup live in my Trade of the Week. Whether you're new to trading or have years of experience, Trade of the Week will help you to generate powerful trade ideas and execute them with precision using stop losses and profit targets. So if you're looking to enhance your skills and boost your confidence in the markets, join me every Monday for my Trade of the Week live on Trade Live with IG.
I can't hear anyone, just so you know.
I'm feeling very lonely. Right, so we go to the opening bell this morning.
What's up, Rich?
Producer Phil saying that poor man. He's getting paid for modelling for at his age. Right, ring that opening bell, Angeline. Go on.
Here we are. We're off. Right, let's have a look there and to the losers first. It is looking red at the moment. Whew,
Banks,
Lloyd's
Lloyds.
down 3% there.
And that West, we've got St James's Place down 1.5. But yeah, biggest loser on the morning is going to be the miners getting hit as well by the looks. So let's refresh that and get them in there. There's Barclays, Antofagasta. So miners and the banks getting hit. And what else are you seeing?
Also seeing WPP down more than 2% there, and St James's Place down more than 2%. Too right, the fees are too high. And Carnival down 1.6%. I can say that, I'm a customer. Also taking a look at Aviva, 1.7% down.
Right, on that news that the Chancellor is no longer going to increase income tax, Poppy pointing out that gilts are getting smashed, right? So that is why you're going to see some of the moves in the market today. Gilts getting smashed because the 30 billion hole that there is believed to be in the Chancellor's finances, then they're going to have to find new ways of plugging that.
Rich, you're going to have to take off that hat, isn't it? Too much. Taking a look elsewhere, Melrose also down 0.2% there. Also watching out for the likes of Barrett Redrow down 2% there. Andrew McKilvey, you watching Barrett. I know you short these house builders. British Land also down more than 2.3% there.
SSE giving up some of its gain, down 2%, but after a whopping 8% on Wednesday, and then you're getting more defensive stocks like BAE Systems only down 1, HSBC only down 1, and IAG has bounced quite well, hasn't it? Remember that was about 388 that we were trading that last week.
I know, you triggered me at that stage. Of course, I remember.
Whitbread.
It's come back up.
Okay, I'm going to buy some Whitbread there because actually I'll wait until the spread comes in. So the spread 5p there at the moment. If that comes down to 27.80, I'm going to buy to start a position there. It's trading really nicely. It's going £28, £29, and it just keeps on bumping between those two.
Nice.
Right, are there any winners today then? Unlikely, I would imagine. Are we getting anything? No, nothing up on the day. Ah, there it is. Burberry.
Yeah.
Burberry was up 6% yesterday, finished down 2%, so back to roughly flat where it was. You know, decent numbers yesterday.
Luke's got and Tom as well, Tom Roberts, some clients that just trade luxury goods, particularly Burberry there. Wizz Air, Andrew McKilvey, it's still heading higher. I think Wizz had a really good session yesterday. Let's have a check on that. Look at that. And it's still moving higher. I missed that, I have to say. I've got IAG, not Wizz Air. But if you go to the left, it is a chart that's been in pain for some time. So guts of steel there, Andrew McKilvey.
Right, what's going through the biggest hits in Europe then? It is Deutsche Bank. So again, those banks, it's not just in the UK. Stellantis, one of the lesser quality names there. That's of course had a huge retreat this year, down to 908. Rheinmetall, so defence sector, and ASML, of course, that would be the obvious one. We didn't see Scottish Mortgage Trust on the FTSE, did we?
Oh, go on then. Luke's going to want us to check that.
It must be getting hit hard. Where is it? Oh, is it not even open yet? There, no, down 1.4. Okay, I'm going to short some of those. So 1,000 Scottish Mortgage Investment Trust sold at 10.82. It's perfect timing for Luke coming on. Sorry, Luke.
Sorry, Luke. Melrose is down more than 1% whilst Rich is doing that. Melrose is down the mood music there. Investors possibly grasping the guidance that is unchanged there, rather than the company saying that its group revenues grew 14%. So they are going with the unchanged guidance there. We also have some smaller names there coming out with some updates as well. DFS saying strong start to full year 26.
So far, so good.
Healthfeds will present a strategy update on November 27th. Let's have a look elsewhere too.
Well, Poppy giving us big warnings there. So saying big reversal in Lloyd's yesterday. Stock now trading down 3.5%. But more general, let's look at the FTSE, because if we can get gilts up, let's see. There is the long gilt, a 1% move in gilts. And you'll see this chart will be very similar to a lot of the FTSE charts that we see today, especially in the banks, insurers. There you see the gilt that was sitting very pretty, sitting happy at 93.85. Poppy, of course, one of the legends of the gilt markets ever since the early 70s. So very honoured to have Chris online and can explain to us these situations. So he says there, I can't see why sterling is trading above recent lows. I absolutely agree. So let's go and sell a bit of sterling. And sorry to Axel on this one, but we will sell $4 a point on.
So sorry to Axel,
cable.
Sorry to Lucky Luke, who's going to come on in a moment, and you can rib him on that.
Actually, I'm going to go bigger because obviously we're naturally long cable, right? We're naturally long British pounds because I've got cash. My ISA is 100% in cash. So we want to. I like to see Poppy has said cheeky, and it's been blocked. The system. your comment. So I'll let that one through.
Was that blocked by Axel over there?
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I'm taking a look at international consolidated airlines there, because on the technical front, this is looking beautiful indeed. Although it is down more than 1% there, you can see how this is obeying the trend there. The area of interest, which I blocked out for you there, is around 368 there, and it bounced off that, and now it's looking like it's bouncing off that 100 EMA, and if my theory is right, it'll start bouncing off the 50 EMA as well and slowly make its way higher. My theory, Rich, please feel free to poke it. I like it when people poke my theories, because it means I've missed something.
Go on.
And Twitter friends, thank you so much for doing this. As I said, Discord is way on the pulse, more on the pulse than any of my push notifications from several platforms.
What's the question?
The question is, please tell me if I'm going the wrong way. My theory is oil price is still very low and possibly edging lower. And IAG coming up to the end of the year, Christmas period, bookings are looking very strong. Yeah,
I mean, this is the big question, right? So if we have a look at oil, then you're right. If there's growth worries, then you'll see the benefit there. But if there's growth worries, the airlines do not survive.
Yeah, then better
after the big year it's had, if you start to see transatlantic especially slow down, that's where they get so much revenue from their business route. And you even see a story this morning on Virgin Atlantic, right? Virgin Atlantic have just raised $745 million by
oh yes, this is a landing slot story. Yeah.
Collateralizing, yep, read the headline. Collateralizing their landing slots for $745 million with, of course, who else but Apollo. So what they're going to do is they're going to get a new set of aeroplanes with 6 business lounges on board, right? That kind of thing just makes you think, do you need that many, that much space taken up by a first class on board these new planes? I'm not sure. So that's usually when these airlines come and get smacked with a bit of a slowdown in growth and a realization that, you know, economy pays as well.
Mind you, the configurations of the planes by BA to Asia, they are increasingly veered towards business class and premium economy.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So everybody's gone business, and the Delta CEO said recently, look, business is where we're making all our money, so we're going to give more space to business. And you can see in the story here, it's Airbus, 10 new Airbus A330 Neos featuring 6 luxurious retreat suites. What a load of rubbish.
It's
A
like
retreat suite
you
on
can't
an
swing a
aeroplane.
cat. It sounds like it's going to be a box and you're going to be wedged in. Some other names today, Richemont. Do you have any? I'm sure you do in that wonderful
Watches.
Yeah, your watches. You love your watch. Which one have you got on? Oh, you got the Apple Watch back on. I thought you had your
saved for me.
Bangkok special. Yeah, that I was about to give to Boise. Richemont is up 7.6%
Wow.
there. You heard me saying this earlier on, watching that because first half sales beat at constant exchange rates, and also operating profit came in at 2.3 billion euros, not shoddy at all, because the expectation was for 2.1 billion. So Richemont there having a good moment.
Okay, so what have we not gone through? Gold. Now you've got positions in gold, silver, and platinum at the moment.
I do
What's
indeed.
your favourite one?
My favorite one at the moment is silver. So I have gone in from early this week because I kind of thought to myself, we're coming up to Thanksgiving. And so the shutdown can't possibly continue on to Thanksgiving, right? People need their turkeys, people need to fly to see their loved ones.
Okay, what's
People
that
need
got to
shopping.
do with silver?
But also silver got carried by the whole kind of, we're going to get data again, shutdown is going to be over. Same thing that carried gold. Silver tends to lag gold, and you can see here that it has had real momentum since the start of this week. I've just gone for the iShares physical silver ETF just because it's easy to come in and out. But I am looking to see whether or not we close, for at least today, whether there's strong volume coming in, whether we close above. Looking at gold as well. Let's have a look at gold here, because gold is at 4,177 an ounce. You got a position on gold at the moment, Rich?
So yeah, I've got quite a complicated position on with a call ratio, but up to the 4,150 level. So at 4,150, I go from being long to short. So, and then I'm also short calls at 4,250 and 4,400. So this is my absolute sweet spot here, and I'm very happy for it to stay here. My inkling would that it would start to sell off, because it's trading as a risk asset. Everything else you're seeing this morning that's a risk asset is getting hit. And I just wonder if, it pulls back a little bit. I don't see Bitcoin having that huge drop and gold being completely immune.
So I like that because I want a bit of pullback, because for me, gold is a longer
Exactly.
long haul, right?
Yeah.
This I'm looking at my duration here, or EE, you hear me say EE a lot, expected exit is end of next year. And I want to be in this, not today, tomorrow, but for the longer term. And for that, I want to pull back because I am averaging in. Our Sachs asked earlier this week, Ange, can you tell us if you're back to averaging in? Yes, I am. I think I messaged you as well on Tuesday to say I'm averaging back into silver. Now with gold, what I'm watching for that positive, to make me feel good about my longer term duration, is that exits from exchange traded funds now look more or less done. Central bankers, especially China's central bank, remains hungry, and the 14-day metric now back above around 50. Loving that hat because it's completely taking me off. Yeah.
And platinum?
Platinum.
Get platinum up on the screen. Got that one.
Can you get it on your screen? Because I'm going to tell you my
All done.
levels. Tell you my levels because I have it on another platform. Here we are. Are you getting colds? Are you getting...
Go on. What's the thoughts on platinum?
Platinum is also a longer term play. I just like the fact that it's also industrial metal.
Okay.
Platinum is currently already in the green. This one I've held since before my holidays. Palladium, though, not yet. It's still in the red.
Time for fast markets. Luke Moore and I are going to be going through Oracle and some options trades in that one. See you in 2. Then Ange is going to be on with Bill Blaine. Time.
I know about the risk, still I'm an alchemist. I know you get the gist, just give me leverage. I've got you in my spell, got you drilled like BP in Shell. Still I'm worth my weight in gold, Anglo-American from Rio, but I still want more Fresnillo. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, yeah, I like it. Yeah, I like it. I like it new and shiny. The bears think it will drop. The bulls are left in shock. But if the market pops, then tell me where's the stop? Burberry in my wardrobe, but I want next LVMH and Inditex. I'm drinking Indy Joe, but I wanna hold all in my Portfolio. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, yeah, I like it. Yeah, I like that. I like that new and shiny. Don't get margin cold. I'm your
Good morning and welcome to a little dose of fast markets. Whilst these markets are moving fairly fast this morning, what are we looking at?
We're looking at Oracle. So we've had a question from RK. Mm-hmm. Do you want to get the Oracle chart up actually, Luke?
I'll have a little look up here.
And yeah, we're gonna talk about Oracle. Now, it's a very tricky one because, of course, great numbers from about 2.5 months ago. The stock popped up to as high as 350 and then started to sell off. So I thought, right, I don't want to pay 320, 330 for this stock, but if it drops to 290, I'm happy to buy them. Mm-hmm. Now, I thought that was right. Mm-hmm. The story has since changed, and the concerns about their balance sheet has really emerged, and the stock has been absolutely creamed. It's become the epicenter of the sell-off around these AI CapEx stories, Luke, hasn't it?
And you can just see it here. You know, this was around their results day when they announced that they were going to be doing the deals with OpenAI and they were going to be starting to build these data centers. And all of a sudden, it was data centers, data, AI, everything risk on.
Yeah.
It was around the same time that they also got TikTok granted. And you just have seen it bleed out ever since. And markets love to close gaps, right? They, you know, it's the old technical analysis adage of they like to close gaps. And you just seen it slowly bleed down, and you know we're now back below where we were pre this kind of I suppose era-defining piece of news for the company.
Yeah,
and that's what the market's
set of results.
Yeah, huge set of results, and it's just been bleeding out ever since.
So the question, as has my P&L. Yeah. So the question is, what do you do in that instance? Well, luckily, I got on the phone to my wonderful broker, Luke Moore, and I said, right, look, I'm in a bit of a mess on these 290 puts. So this was my original position. Okay, I had to buy one back at basically just under $60.
Yep.
But what's the option to then try and so I'm at that moment I was down probably $40 on those. What was my option to try and make the money back from my losses?
Well, this is called rolling your strikes. Right? So you've kept them both in the Decembers. So you've got the Dec 25 expiries. But you can see that if you've had to buy to close one and you've spent $60 buying these back, what you've then done is you've moved from a 290 strike put to a 250 strike put. So you've given yourself more space to be right. And what you've done there is you sold two of them. So you've sold two at roughly $30. So you bought one back at 60. You've now sold two at 27.55. So you've roughly spent the same amount of premium.
Of course, the risk being, now this is when the stock was at 242, right?
Which was those lofty heights of 6 days ago.
6 days ago. My goodness me, what a shocker of a position.
Yeah.
So 6 days ago, stock's trading at 242, and I think, right, by December, I think this will have recovered and it will be above $250. Therefore, net, I've not lost anything.
Yeah.
And I've actually probably made a little bit of money. However, now it's looking a bit trickier, and we're looking down at
215 at the moment.
215.
215
wow.
on the 24-hour markets for the next 40 minutes. Yeah, 215.30. It's just been the last 3 or 4 days. I mean, it's amazing. Yeah. This market has got an incredible ability to get everybody back excited again, and you'll have a green candle like we had coming out the gates on Sunday and Monday and think everything's fine. And we've just been selling out of all these momentum. Now, it isn't everything. You would have noticed the Dow hasn't been selling off as much because of the mixture of stocks in the Dow. But the S&P, of course, we know it's heavily weighted towards the tech. NASDAQ, of course, is really heavily weighted towards the tech. And they've just been getting smashed.
Do you see? So what have I done now is the big question. Well, yesterday we went back and we had another go. So seeing them come off yesterday, let's see where Sean has booked them for me. Geez, I've been trading a lot. Okay, so yesterday, I've obviously then got the 250 position, but I've come in again and said, right, do you know what? If they now get up to 260 by March, then I'm happy to sell the ones that I clearly am going to end up buying in December.
Yep.
So therefore, I will sell one of those, right? So that turns my position into, in theory, long 100 shares, long 200 shares.
Sold one away at 260.
At 260. So that, is an attempt to receive $16. And then I've actually added additional risk by selling a 200.
Chucking a bit more long delta on there. Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
That theory, look, if Oracle end up down at 150, then, I'm adding a lot. Both things have added risk.
Yeah.
But they've done it in a way that is probably the most efficient manner to roll that original 290 option down, because now my break even is probably about $235.
Don't forget to go to 150. Just looking here, it was there in May. So I'm going to just zoom out on the charts here for everybody a little bit to see. This is just a 4-hour chart. But we had Oracle were looking fairly weak for I guess the first third of the year, and then took off over the summer. So yes, 150 will be incredibly painful, but it would basically put you back to where we started the year, really. And thanks for playing the markets, which is quite incredible when you think about the journey that this company's been on with the TikTok deal, with now this.
It's a brand new company, right?
It's in theory a brand new company, yeah.
Got a balance sheet that they are going full all in on AI.
Someone put it to me that they're like the kid that has just been invited to the party. No one really knows who they are. No one really likes them, but they're here and they're making a lot of noise. And everyone's shunning them, at least a little bit from the market's perspective.
Yeah,
I don't know. They're not that sexy growth tech company. They're trying to be.
The new Oracle is.
Then they're trying to be.
Yeah.
But by doing it, by taking on all this debt in order to finance it, clearly the market's not having it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what a lot of this weakness has been over the past week or two. It's the market is finally saying, look, this capex expansion to date has been done on free cash flow. The Microsofts, the Googles, all these guys, they actually still have a lot of cash, but they're choosing to take on some leverage from a tax perspective. You can offset the interest costs. It's why Apple always has a huge cash position, but has also got a decent debt position, etc. Oracle doesn't have that, and that's what's causing concern. Is they're hanging so much on these future cash flows to pay down this debt. Is it going to happen? And that's just a big question mark. And I don't think we've seen question marks like that in the previous 6 months. Now we're having those question marks. But it could also just be a symptom of the fact that we're at highs, or we're at highs, and these stocks are just more and more important these days.
Yeah.
That's it.
IR asking, did I buy Whitbread? I didn't, but I am going to now. So 27.71, if the guys get that, we buy 500 shares of Whitbread. I'll be looking to add to that if we get down to the 27.30 region. So I'll put in 500 shares to buy at 27.33.
Wow, that's come around, isn't it?
Yeah.
What a move that's had down.
Incredible. And this morning, of course, we have seen me put a short on Scottish Mortgage Trust.
No, fair enough.
As soon as I said it, the guy said, "Whoa, that's brave. We'll look coming in." 1083.
1083. I mean, these things have been yo-yoing between kind of 11.30 and 10.70 now for about 3 or 4 months. So yeah, they are still at a discount to their net asset value, as far as I'm aware. And their biggest position is SpaceX. So you'd argue that because that private business, the kind of the reweighting, I suppose, of that position doesn't happen as regularly as the public side of the market portfolio. Could that be a good thing or a bad thing?
Yeah. That's
Could investors go, you know what?
The market's going.
Yeah. Could investors say, we don't like the way that Baillie Gifford you're valuing these, perhaps? Or can they look at it and say, well, SpaceX does another funding round at a premium, because these things have, clearly can happen.
Yeah.
Like XAI the other day just raised another whole bunch of cash at another premium. So, are these sectors still growing? It's funny. Price and sentiment is an incredible thing to study psychologically.
Oh my goodness.
Because, we're looking at charts here over the last week and it's just been almost straight down to the right.
Let's look where we are, because we're at such an important level on the NASDAQ as we speak. Probably about 30 points away from a huge level. What do you think? How do you think today plays out?
I'm someone that likes to try and look at how things close. And I think yesterday we went out near the lows.
Yeah.
And I think if you close out a week near the lows, I think just all weekend people are going to be worried about what they're going to see over the weekend. Form would suggest that Trump's probably going to send out some form of a tweet to try and stem the sentiment. He tried last week with the 2,000 stimmy. He tried the stimmy checks last week.
Yeah.
Look, depends on your time horizon. I think today, unless we start breaking through kind of yesterday's close level, and all the while it's at what they call
We're well below that.
Yeah, no, I know. But that's what I'm saying. Unless we can get back above that, it's a sell the rallies kind of day. It feels like.
I said earlier, today feels like one of those Fridays where either you rally 1.5% from here and you get back into that 252. 25,200 would be my guess at where we close tonight.
Okay.
So let's put that into an option, shall we? Let's do a poll. Where do we close tonight? 24,200, 24,600, 25,000, or 25,200 on the Nasdaq. I.e., are we down another 2% from here? Are we down 1% from here? Are we or do we actually rally 1.5%?
Well, I think we do probably rally just a little bit. I think because we don't have specific catalysts, we can't point the finger and say the markets have come off because of reasons A, B, C.
Yeah.
Right? We can look at the UK this morning and we can see that headlines about the income tax, therefore the gilts, therefore the FTSE's down 1%. We can talk about that.
Makes sense.
But otherwise, you look at the tech stocks and just say, well, it's a momentum unwind. You can look at the fact that there is now only a 50-50 shot that they're going to cut rates in December. You can look at the fact that when are we going to start to get retail sales data, inflation data, jobs data, and unemployment data? When is that actually going to start to come out? Because this is what the market's now freaking out about. It's like, right, okay, now we need to find out what this data is, and if the markets are selling Fed fund futures because they're worried about the fact that they're now not going to they're not going to cut, in December. What does that mean the data is going to look like? If the data is strong, then it means they're definitely not going to cut. And the market's been rallying up on this kind of easing unwind.
Oh, huge.
And now we're just seeing that unwind a little bit. We lost the bet on Monday, didn't we? The FTSE 10,000 by the end of the week.
Yes.
We definitely lost that. Was it Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday? I can't remember when I came in.
They said next week.
So it's next week forward
next
from Tuesday, because I think it was Tuesday that I was on.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've still got a couple
because
of
the hat's not arrived yet.
No, good.
We've got a new hat today.
Hold up for the camera.
Right, let's put this into practice then. We think that it have a small rally today. That's about 1.5%, so up to 25,200. Okay, so 25,200. The options are 14 to 20. So I do not think that it will go above that. Therefore, I am going to sell those, and I'm going to sell those in £20, $20 a point.
Do you think we break that level of support? Because the other side of that is you could strangle it and just sell a put below.
No, I'm scared of the puts, because if we go through this level, it could be a really horrible evening.
Okay.
I'm not saying it will be. I'm just saying if we do, then it's going to be carnage.
And what we're saying that level is, just so that we can keep an eye on it, it's the
24,800. I thought it was. That's what I've heard this morning. Ange thought it was more like
247.
24,700.
Yeah, which is basically where we closed out last week.
Well, that's how fun is that?
Yeah, literally. It just goes straight back to where we were last week.
Yeah. So we're up on the week.
Currently, we are still up on the week, yeah.
And it feels.
Actually, looks like we had a late afternoon rally into the close. So sorry,
that's right.
We are now underneath. Excuse me.
But you're right. Where Europe closed the week.
Yes, so Europe would have closed the week down here somewhere. Yeah, 247.20 around that level.
Okay, so I have raised $20 a point times 14.5. So that is $290. Now I want to spend that on upside. So if we go as little as $5? What's $300 divided by 5? 60.
$60.
So I can buy. Well, there's 70 for 70. Oh, it's going up. Does the market rallying? For 73 points, I can buy $5 a point. And that's spending 300 and...
Well, I was going to say, we're rallying-ish. We're 60 points off the lows. But it's just making around that kind of 248.40 low around here. But we're just...
Oh my God, it's still going. Stop! Going up!
Yeah, here you go. Zoom in for you. Yeah, so it's just making a move off those lows there.
Right, so $5 a point at the 25,010 level. So we're playing for 200 points. And 200 points at $5 a point will give us a nice $1,000 into the weekend.
To go and spend at the weekend.
But if it goes up through 250, 25,200...
You got to let him go.
Then, but we're short
Short
15.
calls.
So I would lose that 200 points at 3 times rate, and your break even is 25,250. Then I'm short.
Yeah, but 25,250 puts you back to, if I can get these charts to work, puts you back up yesterday mid-afternoon before the US market opened.
Yeah.
So you got a decent amount of space. I'd be surprised if we get all the way back up there, but I can see people stepping in to buy these stocks here at these levels.
And they will defend that bottom of the range.
Yeah, let me just come back to a 4 hourly for you.
Mind you, it hasn't. They tried defending Bitcoin at 100 and it hasn't worked.
No, it hasn't. Where is it now? 98, something like that.
Yeah. Right, Bill Blaine is in the house, waiting to come on. So
A bit of porridge.
big weekend.
Yes, you could say that. Got some bits and pieces with clients this weekend, and then do you know I'm going? Have you ever been to Smokestack, the restaurant up in Shoreditch?
No, I don't think so.
Probably-
I've seen the social media.
Probably the best barbecue food in London.
You're going.
I'm going on Sunday. I can't wait. One of my favourite places to go.
Slight hangover after Saturday.
Maybe slight hangover. Yeah, maybe.
He's off to England, New Zealand, isn't he? Yeah.
Hey, yeah.
Top client.
Sometimes I love this job.
Good stuff, right? We'll see you after the Bill Blaine interview. Angeline will be on with Bill Blaine next. And then we've got your hero of the Discord, Maturin, joining us at 9:10.
Nice. Enjoy.
Hello, I'm Axel Rudolph, Senior Technical Analyst at IG and Fellow of the Society of Technical Analysts with over 30 years experience in trading the financial markets. Every Monday I break down a carefully selected trade setup live in my Trade of the Week. Whether you're new to trading or have years of experience, Trade of the Week will help you to generate powerful trade ideas and execute them with precision using stop losses and profit targets. So if you're looking to enhance your skills and boost your confidence in the markets, join me every Monday for my Trade of the Week live on Trade Live with IG.
Welcome to the Art of Investing, a brand new podcast to help you achieve your investing goals.
And I've seen at first hand the power of the wealth creation that one has been able to obtain from this industry. What we're going to do is we're going to put it into action by creating our own model portfolio.
We're going to be talking about the big indices that are around the world, because that is probably some of the safest ways for you to invest your money.
We need to bring this to everybody and help them then take control of their own investment story.
Join me, Rich McDonald, and my co-hosts Mark Spice Holden and Chris CJ Fellingham every Friday when we bring you updates from the markets and insights from our combined 100 years of investing experience.
Hey, welcome trader friends, and we have for you, of course, Bill Blaine, and your yummy morning porridge. Bill, of course, from Windshift Capital. Good morning, Bill. How are you?
I am fine and dandy. Tickety-boo, things could not be better. And I am already 4 or 5 hours into the working day.
Oh, wow. Have you recovered from Tuesday when we had that IG Prime event? Bill, of course, our guest of honor there.
It was great fun. Some very interesting people, some very interesting questions about what was going on in global markets, and a chance for me to sit there and talk for an hour instead of 20 minutes. It was great fun.
Speaking of which, great fun. Are we expecting a correction, a major correction in the coming hours? Or do you think we're just going to have that steady on as she goes, bounce back off and up, back above that 50 EMA?
Okay, so as I keep saying, investing is about the long term. No, I'm not getting nothing to do with bearishness today. Investing is about understanding what's going to happen in the long term. Trading is about trading the sentiment in the markets.
Mood.
There's an awful lot of reasons for people to be nervous just now. The big driver at the moment is fears about liquidity crunch, that the Fed isn't going to ease. And there's an awful lot of expectations that the Fed is going to ease and even re-embark on chronically low interest rates. And it's that concern that is driving the weakness in stocks and in things like Bitcoin.
How low
we
will it
are
go
in
this
a
time?
very interesting market.
I mean, let's
My
get it up.
prediction for today, Angeline, just to finish though, is that markets may go up or they may go down.
Ever the cryptic here from Bill, but let's have a look at Bitcoin because that was what you started the morning porridge with, and Bitcoin still traversing lower, currently 971,000, just above that nose there. Are we going to see that Bitcoin is going to plumb levels last seen? The last area of interest was around the 7th of April when it got to 795.
Okay, I love Bitcoin. No, not because I believe in it. It's the perfect trading instrument because all it is sentiment and belief. There's nothing underlying it. Let's be brutally frank. The only thing that makes it work is that people believe in it. End of story. And at the moment, what we've got is one of these classic patterns that you see now in Bitcoin, which is it hits a bottom and then it starts to climb as the FOMO starts to develop that it can only go up. It's going to reach 1 billion. It's all this. But Bitcoin's big problem is that it keeps running out of the greater fool. And that's what's happened here again. Now, Bitcoin, for all that it says about being digital gold and it's immune to all the dangers of nasty, horrible fiat government money, Bitcoin actually trades on a highly correlated, even leverage basis to fear and concern in the markets. And that's what's going on here. Classically, we got another liquidity fear that the market is short of the next greater fool to buy. You've got the risk that the Fed isn't going to cut interest rates. And as a result, everyone's pulling out. Now, we've got all these sidebar stories that make Bitcoin, such an interesting thing to use as the light comic relief moment every morning. The story of some Chinese woman who's stolen 5 billion Bitcoin from wallets. The fact that some of the original whales are now selling their wallets, or have they been hacked? Michael Saylor's MicroStrat strategy fund now trading and heading towards Ponzi discovery phase because all he's doing is now selling preferred stock to fund the payments to investors. That is the classic definition of a Ponzi. What could possibly go wrong, you ask yourselves. So, I do trade Bitcoin and I buy it when I detect that the fantabulosity of the nonsense that I read on all the crypto sites has reached they're all fooling themselves stage. And at the moment, we've now got to the stage where it's beginning to fall because they're all telling each other that it's going to fall. So it will fall. How far it falls, frankly, I could not care less. But at some stage, I will jump back in as the hype multiplies, and I'll follow it up until it collapses. My gut feel is that it's nothing. It has never been anything. And I would ask people who believe in Bitcoin this very simple question. Would you buy a beta test financial concept that was invented in 2008 for $100,000 today when the Chinese are about to drop fully working quantum computing on us? And if your answer to that is yes, I'd like to speak to you about shorting my Bitcoin.
So there you have it. Bill's view on Bitcoin. As I said, this is not trading advice. And when we talk about Bitcoin, in my humble opinion, of course, we talk about trading, which is very different to investing. Steve CDR there. Talking about this and hit the nail on the head there. It is crowd mentality. It's good to understand that this is what drives it. At the same time, of course, there are other movements out there. For example, recently we heard that central banks yet again talking about buying Bitcoin and testing crypto assets. But we've been hearing about this for a very long time, right? About like 10 years now. We've been even hearing the Bank of England talking about what they're testing and everything.
Yeah.
But the crux of the matter is, we're not seeing, Bitcoin being used for buying coffees or tea.
Of course you're not. You can't physically do it. If 500 people tried to spend money on Bitcoin at the same time, the whole thing would jam up and it wouldn't work. Look, I've been writing about Bitcoin since 2010, 18 months after it launched, and I thought it was interesting. I still do. But I offered $100 then to anyone who could tell me anything that Bitcoin would ever do that was legal and wasn't already done better. And I've still got $100 in my pocket. And if anyone calls me up and says, oh, but you can transact really easily, I've got a Revolut card, I don't need Bitcoin. I don't need Tether either. Rant mode this morning. Shall we talk about something else?
Well, I've just got strategy up because one of our
that strategy, when it blows up, I'm going to love it.
It's fallen, I believe. Not going to take out my measuring tool.
Really?
You can do it at home.
Bitcoin's fallen and strategy's fallen as well.
28% this year. 28% this year, possibly more there. Looking at those red bars there. We got another person, Derek, on the chat asking, would Bill buy gilts now, UK gilts now?
That's a very good question, and it's one that I'll struggle to answer because I haven't actually been worried about gilts all week. Yes, we've got the budget coming up. Yes, we've got an absolute blitzkrieg of political misinformation going on about how terrible it's going to be, stories that they're going to reverse some of the cuts. I mean, frankly, the gilts market is not in anything like the nonsense that you read in all the shill papers saying that we're going back to the IMF, that we're in the middle of a collapse, blah, blah, blah. It's just noise. And when you read noise like that, you need to step back and ask, when you read political disinformation or market disinformation, who does it serve? And if you read stories about the UK needing to go to the IMF, you've got to figure out that it's going to be the right wing who are disappointed that Labour are in power. And if you read about it when the Tories are in power, it's probably the left wing that are disappointed that the Tories are in power. So this is just noise. The reality of the UK is our economy is in line with practically everybody else's. We have serious financial constraints. They are trying to stick to the rules, which is probably the right thing. Yes, they should probably cut welfare spending. And the next time someone tells me, oh, but they're driving all the billionaires to Dubai, I would simply say, well, hang on, the reason these people are billionaires is because of all the money that we invested to create an economy that they learned and that they've succeeded in. And if they want to go and betray us by going and living somewhere else, that's their call. but we really don't need these people. Okay, not everyone's going to agree with that outlook, but that's mine particular.
And
I'm not worried about guilt. There are things that do worry me more.
I totally agree with that too, Bill, because especially since I've come back from 2 weeks in Asia, no one's talking about, the budget outside the UK. No one's talking about,
No, it's entirely fanned and fueled by the right wing at the moment.
And if you don't, everyone's still buying up property in places in Asia. And what are they called? Number one, Cambridge Place. They've even got, believe it or not, Oxford Place and Forest. So this is like in places that are like, 33 Celsius heat every single day. So there is ample enthusiasm for the UK, especially the education. People still want to come here to study and to live. If you don't believe me, take a look at the FTSE and the stellar run that the FTSE has had this year, Bill. I mean, this is something that makes me cheerful every day.
You call it a stellar run, I call it meh, and I'm actually looking at the components of the
we've been
FTSE.
waiting for such a long time for this moment.
I've got some issues with the whole UK stock market. We can talk about that. If there is one thing that really worries me just now about the UK, it's actually soft power. And that took a massive dent this week. And this was the scandal at the BBC and this Panorama programme and the noise that the Americans are now making about it and Trump's demand for $1 billion in compensation. Now, the way that they manipulated the tape, it was ham-fisted, and yes, it was wrong. But let's not forget that it was Congress that impeached Trump on exactly the charge that it was suggesting, that Trump was guilty of fomenting insurrection. And that's basically what the piece said. It was a Panorama program made 3 years after the event. It was wrong. But what's happened is it has given yet another opportunity for those with an interest to do so, to question the impartiality of the BBC. And again, you've got to ask who benefits from that. Well, again, I'm afraid it's reform and the right wing. The problem is that once you open that can of worms, when reform gets into power, I think they're going to regret that they'll have damaged the impartiality reputation of the BBC. So if there's one thing I'm worried about in the UK, that's it. There is another issue in the UK that worries me, and that's the increasing bureaucratization, not particularly a government, which already is a bureaucracy, but when I look at customer service in the UK, and I'm just going to rant here for a moment about something that happened
Unlike
to me
you
this
to
week.
rant, Bill?
Well, I'm furious, and I've now elected Centrica and its subsidiary, British Gas, to worst company in the world status. I am just preparing a massive broadside why you should dump Centrica. And I'm sending an open letter to Chris O'Shea, their CEO, because I am spitting feathers at them this week. And that's because I recently bought a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. And part of that was it came with a charger from the manufacturer. So I went to Octopus, who are our power supplier, and said, here's the discount. They said, excellent, we'll get it fitted. But then they had to go to British Gas, who is, this being Britain, our electricity supplier. They're the guys who actually deliver the electricity. And British Gas said, no, you can only have it fitted where the power comes into the house. And we explained to them, said, well, actually, where the power comes into the house is no good because it's not near the drive. So when we were building the house and the new garage, we built a power cable. Here's all the specifications, the design certificates, and photographs. No, we have to do it. I said, no, you don't. And they sent somebody to our house without telling us, who wandered all around our garden, took photographs, and they sent us a bill. And the actual distance is 5.5 meters. And they want to charge us £5,500 to lay a cable where a cable already £5,500 to lay 5.5 meters of cable. So that is a monopoly rip-off situation. I am preparing broadsides. I'm going to destroy this company.
Let's have a look at Centrica's share price there, and
Yeah, you can see it. It's having an effect already. There you go.
From 3rd of
They've been
November.
hit by
There
the
we heard.
curse of blame.
Blaine from the broadside started early November. Speaking of that and energy, of course, it is that time of year again.
Oh, yes,
Oh
this
my
is
goodness.
important.
This is when I
This
have
is
a rant. This is when Ange has a rant, not Bill. It is the COP25 that is taking place right as we speak. I'm going to put that up for you. In fact, we have one of our very own Trade Live with IG people, Terence, one of our directors in the gallery, there at the moment. This is I always say COP, Bill, is a place where people go to be seen, because not a huge amount, I've covered this many times, not a huge comes out from it. It's a bit like Davos. But this time round, it's piqued my interest because, we've seen that Trump's not been great for renewables because he went back to drill, baby, drill immediately. But I wonder if we're about to see a rebound because they've been beaten down so much. What do you think?
There's a number of things at work here. I think they're all rather important. We got to be brutally honest.
I'd love to know what our trader friends think as well.
Yeah, we went through a period of peak COP a number of years ago. Glasgow COP probably was the top.
2021, right?
We got that absolute hype about how important, and we had every single global leader making the case about how green and how good they were. And it all rather got ahead of itself. And then, of course, we ran into this populist frenzy that ended up with Trump version 2.2. And the whole thing about saving the world has gone down a couple of notches. So you don't have the same people here, but that is changing, and it's going to change very rapidly, because the first thing is people are woken up to the fact that, China builds and uses more fossil fuel than anyone else, but they are also building more renewable fuel. They've actually seen that you've got to have clean renewable fuel alongside the dirty to create growth. And it isn't perfect, but it's getting towards transition. We're also seeing this year a whole series of storms that don't make much weather sense. And they haven't been as chaotic as they could be, but they've got the weathermen really quite worried about what the warming ocean temperatures really mean. And that's the critical thing, warming temperatures in the ocean, because that's what drives storms. And you're going to get a focus coming back in. And the third thing that's going in is what we saw in New York City last week, the election of a socialist Democrat. And that just brings back to the fore that it's young people who actually care the most about this kind of thing. And politicians are going to spot that again, and they're going to latch back onto it. So suddenly COP becomes worth...
It's a pendulum, isn't it?
It's kind of circular. Yeah, it is. It's exactly it. And it's just like politics. I've got a £1,000 bet on with one of my political mates that Nigel Farage will have fallen out with all four of his current MPs by the time of the next election. And that's why the pendulum may not be where we think it's pointing in terms of UK politics. We may even see the Greens do better because we are seeing this shift in young people back to COP, back to things that COP likes to represent. The problem is, if you've ever been to a COP meeting and you see just what a gab fest it has become, it's not a place where you get effective policy or effective environmental discussions.
Where you get seen to be seen talking, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I may be a market commentator, but I actually do give a care for my planet and my ecology. I'd studied environmental economics before it was a thing, and it's always interested me.
I give a care too. I mean, those of you watching and many from Asia as well, you'll know that I piss my parents off because I refused to throw batteries into a bin. In fact, I carried them all the way back to London with me. I couldn't find a battery recycling bank over there, so I carried it all the way back to the UK with me so that I could pop it into the recycling. God knows what they do with it. But back to renewables, just a bit of a roundup for you. First solar. Let's have a look at the 1 year return, 18% there. Whilst BP seeing 12% there. Also, GE Vernova is the other one as well. That has been going great guns there. Having a look at GE Vernova, this is the daily chart, just showing you the rise there. And there is this, they might have been slammed in previous years, 22, 23. But they are looking like they have had this comeback, and I wonder if we're going to see an even bigger comeback as the pendulum swings back. And like Bill, you were saying that younger people become the core voters. Whether we will see that start to also shift policy. Right, we've got Rich coming up next with you, Bill. Give us a thumbs up if you think you're going to see markets be steady in the next few hours, and by that I mean the US Open, or do you think it's going to be a really, really roller coaster ride?
No, because there's too much liquidity still backing this market, which means that people are going to still think that it's time to jump in and buy the dip. I still believe that the market needs a correction. It ain't happened yet.
Hold that thought, because Richie Rich is up next.
Hello, I'm Axel Rudolph, Senior Technical Analyst at IG and Fellow of the Society of Technical Analysts with over 30 years experience in trading the financial markets. Every Monday I break down a carefully selected trade setup live in my Trade of the Week. Whether you're new to trading or have years of experience, Trade of the Week will help you to generate powerful trade ideas and execute them with precision using stop losses and profit targets. So if you're looking to enhance your skills and boost your confidence in the markets, join me every Monday for my Trade of the Week live on Trade Live with IG.
Do you like the sound of tax-free trading? Well, that's exactly what spread betting enables you to do. This tax-free way of trading lets you speculate on the price of over 17,000 financial instruments, like shares, indices, forex, and commodities, without actually owning them. With spread betting, you can benefit from both rising and falling prices, letting you find the perfect opportunity. So if you think the market's going up, you buy. If you think it's going down, then you can sell short. Not only is spread betting exempt from capital gains tax, but it's also commission free. All you pay is the spread. With us, you're not alone. You're part of a wide community of traders that you can learn from. We've got the experts, the tools, and extensive educational resources to help you on your journey. If you're not quite ready to trade with real money, you can always give it a go on a demo account. Open an account today, join the conversation, and be inspired to make moves. Just reading these comments coming back in and watching your reaction makes my day. That's brilliant. That's from John. And then Bill was on a political rant, was he? I actually missed it because I was out grabbing a coffee in the nice sunny Cannon Street. But, well, it is the 9 o'clock hour, so we've got our all hours US session open. Let's take a look at what is at the bottom of the leaderboard there, it is Tesla. Tesla down 1.5%, 395, so slipping back below that 400 level. Then we got Palantir 170. What a round trip that has been on this week. Let's take a quick look at the Palantir chart for the last few days. Here we go. So we had, of course, the results last week, and you can see from the 210 level, it just swung lower down to 188, and then it had that that sell-off with the rest of the market on the Friday. But a 9% rally we saw this week in Palantir back to the 195 level, and straight back it goes to 170. So a really interesting and defining moment for Palantir. And the reason I say it's a defining moment is because it feels a lot like the market has changed and the market is being unforgiving now. Let me tell you what my new playbook is going to be going into this new world. It is anything that is trading under 20 times earnings, right? That is going to be my benchmark, maybe even 21, 22. So your solid, defensive, high cash generative companies with healthy balance sheets. Right, I'll be looking for those that are under the market multiple of the S&P 500. Anything that's over 26, 27 times earnings, I want to own less of. Right, it's got to have a good story there. Anything that is priced on sales, right, because maybe it doesn't have earnings or the earnings are sort of negligible. Palantir being the good example of it trading on multiples of sales, like 100 times its sales, or Rigetti that has hardly any earnings, right? Those are the stocks that the market does not want to entertain at the moment. Those days are gone. The market has shifted its mindset. And if you're stuck in the old mindset, then there is a chance that you get hurt quite badly. You've got to be careful. You've got to be very diligent on your risk metrics. But if we're talking stocks like we see in the FTSE, that is the kind of market that is being rewarded at the moment. All right, we see the FTSE even struggling itself, but nothing like what the Nasdaq has been on in the past couple of weeks. So good old FTSE defensive stocks. We've seen a great story from SSE this week that was rewarded highly. So I'm going to try and sell puts in SSE today because I would love to own these below £20. So you can see, let's get the proper chart up there. That is your year, but we can go back even longer and see this is transformational in the SSE chart because it's done nothing for so long. And the headquarters up there in my hometown of Perth in Scotland, they must be very happy with how the deal was received this week. So £22.30. I'm not going to run up there and pay above 22, but I am going to sell a put at the old resistance level of £20. Then we had another stock this week with Diageo announcing their CEO. Fantastic appointment there of Dave Lewis, ex-Tesco, and now taking over the helm in January at Diageo. So another one, right? I'm not saying that there's not another profit warning here because there probably is. New CEO. If you come into this performance, you're going to kitchen sink everything in that first set of results. So expect another big profit warning in Diageo in whatever it is, March, April next year. But the market will buy it. And then you'll have a strategy day by sort of June, July. And then this stock, I can see it re-rating and it being back in the £23 to £24 level. If we take a look on the platform, about 3 months ago, on the watch list, you'll remember that it was added my stocks to watch. So if you go onto the platform and have a look in the Discover section, so down here, Rich McDonald's ones to watch, you'll see that we had Diageo in there. That's not performed well. We had GSK. That's had good results. Vodafone's had great results breaking out this week, and SSE as well. The big loser has, of course, been MicroStrategy. I definitely got the Bitcoin treasuries wrong there. But Wisdom Tree Defense doing well. ASML has had rocket fuel. We put that in when it was 620 euros. So obviously now up to 865. Marvell's done well. We put that one in when it was $70. And yeah, so just keep in check. And of course, Anglos we put in there when it was £21. And we've seen a nice 35% rally in that one. So I would stick by, I would probably take MicroStrategy out, although at these levels, actually no, I take that back. At these levels, I would leave it in. I wish I'd not had it in there in the first place, obviously. And then the rest I'm fairly happy with, actually. It's a question I'm going to have a think over the weekend what I would add to this list. Perhaps Oracle would be in there as a bit more risky, and you know, getting the AI stock in there that I managed to avoid. The bubble worlds. Okay. Well, I am very pleased to announce that our first section of Trader Friends, Maturin, one of your own, that has been, you know, absolutely transformational in the chat and the Discord, is about to join us with Angeline coming up after the break. I'll come in as well after they've had a good natter and say hello. So coming up in 2 minutes, it is Maturin, the Discord legend. Welcome to the Art of Investing, a brand new podcast to help you achieve your investing goals.
And I've seen at first hand the power of the wealth creation that one has been able to obtain from this industry. What we're going to do is we're going to put it into action by creating our own model portfolio.
We're going to be talking about the big indices that are around the world, because that is probably some of the safest ways for you to invest your money.
We need to bring this to everybody and help them then take control of their own investment story.
Join me, Rich McDonald, and my co-hosts Mark Spice Holden and Chris CJ Fellingham every Friday when we bring you updates from the markets and insights from our combined 100 years of investing experience.
Hello, I'm Axel Rudolph, Senior Technical Analyst at IG and Fellow of the Society of Technical Analysts with over 30 years experience in trading the financial markets. Every Monday I break down a carefully selected trade setup live in my Trade of the Week. Whether you're new to trading or have years of experience, Trade of the Week will help you to generate powerful trade ideas and execute them with precision using stop losses and profit targets. So if you're looking to enhance your skills and boost your confidence in the markets, join me every Monday for my Trade of the Week live on Trade Live with IG.
Hey, Trader Friends, and I am so proud to bring the first ever Trader Friends segment live to Trade Live with IG, and of course, standing by, ready to go, is Paul Cooper, otherwise known as Maturin. Welcome to the show.
Such an honor to be here, Ange. Thank you very, very much.
Goodness me, we've all been waiting for this. Loads of people on the chat as well. I see a lot of hearts, a lot of claps there. You know when it's like meeting your superstar and then when you see them for the first time, we've only been speaking every day forever.
I have been told I have the perfect face for radio.
Neil Brewster saying there's our boy and Boise as well. Voice of Voice saying salute to Miss Churin, our Discord leader. Thank you so much for starting Discord and being such a huge supporter along with everyone else. Give us a quick introduction to yourself and how you started your trading and investment journey.
Well, I started trading. I'm well into my third decade of trading now, and I think in the first 15 years I blew 3 trading accounts, lost some significant amounts of money. One of them was a six-figure lot, and it sort of had a big impact on me in terms of my own physical and mental health as such. But I came back into trading about 10 years ago with the very sort of strong desire to get things right. So I took on a trading coach. That person taught me a consistent way of doing things, so that I could actually be very rigid in the discipline that I was applying to it, and have been a fairly successful trader / investor, since as such. But before I actually came back into it, I did suffer quite significantly with mental health issues. That resulted in me ending my career in corporate life, and I became a mental health first aid training instructor. And I'm also a Samaritan. And one of the reasons why I wanted to start Discord was to actually provide some support to the guys who are the other side of the screen here. Because you'll see that on the adverts, 67% of people who trade with IG lose money, and it's much higher with other trading platforms. It's nothing to do with the platform itself, it's people losing money. And so therefore there was a lot of people who were going through some heartache, particularly from this week with a lot of red on the markets. And the idea of Discord for me was that it gives a platform for people to talk about it.
And boy, I wouldn't be saying this on air unless I really meant it, because, as you know, I've had several reincarnations myself, but I would say that and you've heard me say this many times, trader friends, the push notifications, the notifications I get from Discord, so much more on the pulse. And this is also thanks to the likes of Maturin, curating and supporting such a wonderful community out there. Maturin, share with us, because I am a big fan, as you know, and I stress test things to death. Rich Puppy says probably too much, like my cars, before I make a decision, safer but later. But talk us through your process. Talk us through your disciplined new trading and investment process.
Well, I can't trade like Rich for a startup. I mean, today he's been putting trades on, he's been buying Whitbread, etc. I can't do that because that is a surefire guarantee for me to lose money. So I have some absolute rules which I have to follow, and if none of those rules, so if any of those rules are not met, I walk away from it as a trading opportunity. I've been up since 2 o'clock this morning.
You look very well for it.
Thank you very much. And it's a lot of oil of Ulay.
How do you do it? I need at least, as you know, here. Rich has also topped me up. I need at least 3 to 4.
I benefit from insomnia, so it really helps me to actually do that. Go figure. But I start scanning, do some stock scanning from the overnights. I will typically end up with about 300 potential trades that I could be looking at.
So how do you filter this? How do you filter this, Paul?
So I only trade with the trend. So therefore, I will use TradingView to call out stocks that are of a certain quality, a certain market capitalization. I don't trade small caps as such.
Neither do I.
And then they have to be going up or down in a solid trend, and that has to be confirmed on the monthly, weekly, and daily charts. And then from that, I look at 3 different strategies that I have, and I have it down to an art now. I can flick through 300 stocks probably in the matter of about 15 minutes and whittle that down and go on to the next phase. And all the time I'm filtering through those stocks, and at the end of it, I might be left with 10 stocks to consider. I might be left with 0. If I'm left with 0, that's fine. It's no problem. As Axel says, not being in a position
is also a
itself.
position. Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And what are your durations? Because I like filtering monthly, weekly, daily. And if I'm really still wanting, and this is more so trading, not investing, then I'll go to the hourly chart. And if all those align, then I make the trade. If they don't align, then I leave it aside. What kind of duration are you looking at?
Well, I sort of run 3 accounts, really. I sort of have a trading account, which can be fairly short term. Which would be, potentially anything up to 3 or 4 weeks. I have a sort of very rapid changing ETF account, which I have here in Spain, which could be anything up to sort of 3 months or so. And then I trade my SIP, which is obviously far much longer term, and got an alert going off here. And so therefore I have different strategies for each of those different accounts. Trading is far different than investing.
Absolutely. Scotto Lotto this asking, do you use high volume nodes to identify entry points?
Yes, I mean, it's a confirmation more than anything. It's not necessarily to identify entry points. What I need is certain number of planets aligned before I can say, yes, I'm going into a particular trade. If they're not aligned, then walk away from it. I think on the adverts, it says that IG have got 17,000 vehicles to trade. So
plenty to choose
you
from.
You don't need to be hoping that a particular stock is going to work for you. Drop it, move on. If it comes back up through your scanner, a couple of days later, great. It might meet your rules. But a lot of people that I speak to, particularly on the Discord group, do not have written rules. And I think if you want to make consistent profits, you've got to be consistent with the way you approach your trading. It's got to be repeatable. And it's got to be sort of habit. You get into a habit of stock selection as such.
I love that. I love that because I have lots of rules as well. In fact, my husband hates it because I have it written and stuck on our freezer, and he says it messes up the feel of the room. Mango, trying to trigger you. Mango, where have you been? Have you just been silently watching? As Mango's saying, today I'll put a thumbs down because Majoon is in it, but he made a funny face after that. Friar Tuck, thank you so much for being such a pillar of support as well on the chat there. In terms of longer term investing, Majoon, do you hold on to that Buffett rule of you must be willing to, if you have strong conviction, he said something like you must be willing to see it fall 50% and still want to hold on because you're that convinced by your theory?
Quite the opposite.
So you have set, like if it crosses, like I was telling RSAX about the 7% rule, get out of it.
Absolutely. I trade the chart. I have no emotion against the stocks whatsoever. Pierce was on the show a couple of weeks ago, and he was talking to Rich saying that he knows people who could be trading potatoes, quote, and really it doesn't matter what the stock is. If the chart is telling you one thing and you can trade it, then trade it. I do not hold on to stocks long term if they're going down. I would much rather exit with a nice profit, watch it drop down and look for another entry point. So get more out of it. Yeah, absolutely.
I love it. I love it. And, you know, Mature and I talk about entry points quite a lot. We talked about Sarabi and me exiting on Tuesday. Always use Discord. It's great as a facility to kind of have a bouncing board. Boise asking, Mature, do you prefer lots of small positions or do you stick to a couple of big ones?
Well, I've got I keep my trading account very small, relatively speaking. So at the moment, I've got, I think it's about £15,000 in my trading account, and I've got 37 trades on. So one of the things that I focus on in particular is the amount of margin that is being taken up by a trade. If the margin is too great, and I have a very specific rule about that, if it takes up more than 5% of my my portfolio, then basically I walk away from it. That means that I can trade very regularly, small amounts, but still get the same returns.
And we've got producer Phil there saying, you know, Trader Friends, obviously, you know, Discord, wonderful resource. It is definitely a safe and kind place for everyone. Speaking of kind and safe, we got Rich here to talk to us.
Paul, how are you?
I'm very well, Scottish. How you doing?
Scottish man. Yeah, that's right. God, we haven't actually had that for a while, haven't we? It is wonderful to have you on. And yeah, I just cannot emphasize enough. Thank you so much for everything you've done to support the show, but then the Discord as well. And I didn't realize that you were a Samaritan, and you know that was some of the thinking behind. So it aligns with what we've thought for this show could be right from the start. So.
Well, I think, I mean, you raised some really good points earlier this morning when you were talking about Oracle. And I think somebody on the chat said that they were, I think it was 12,000 down. You know, that is a significant amount to be to be carrying as a loss. And of course, the number one rule you should have when you're trading is that if you can't afford to lose it, don't play with it.
Yeah.
And I've been in that situation myself. I've had some very big losses, and it's not so much that trade that actually hurts, it's the aftermath when you start thinking about it.
So true.
And also if you've got to explain to others where that money has gone. You know, I have traded quite a lot and then had to go and tell my wife or my children, bad day today, guys, I'm down £25,000. And you think that is a tough discussion that you have with your family, because they then say, why the hell are you doing this? You know, and that's the idea that I had really in terms of pushing Discord, was to try and get people to talk about their strategies, document them, become very disciplined about it, and avoid having those losses in the first place.
And and I know that Scotty is now a member as well, isn't he? He's in there, and
He's very active.
And that's so that the real aim and what we try over and over again is to get people to manage those losses, but like you say, learn the discipline in the first place, not to make the same mistake. We just recorded a great episode of Art of Investing yesterday, and it was with an author, but also an investment manager called Lee Freeman Shore. And it was a book called The Art of Execution, and he puts investors and traders into 5 tribes. And Paul, I think you're really going to enjoy this this episode.
Great. Can I just congratulate you on The Art of Investment? I think it's a brilliant podcast, and it's great that you are actually following the 3 golden rules of podcasting. Number 1, engaging content. Number 2, always leave them wanting more.
That wasn't rehearsed, by the way. It was great.
I'm glad we clicked at the same time. I might have been left stone face. Very good. Now, have we talked about uckers in the background there?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
Right,
So I am ex-Navy. I'm an ex-submariner. And anybody who's been in the military, particularly the Navy, will probably know of the game of uckers. It's a dice game similar to Ludo, but has some very significant differences. And I formed the company to bring Uckers as a digital game available on Androids and iOS devices. And it's doing really well. So you can play the game on your mobile phone, on your iPads, and we launched it as a boxed game earlier this year. So we're trying to get it Uckers for all. So not just the people in the military who know about it, but to absolutely everybody. It's a fantastic, fast-paced board game.
How much
Great
is
for
the
Christmas.
how much is the
Available
digital
on
version?
Amazon.
It's on Amazon. Brilliant. Right. Well, producer Phil is going to put the link into the chat right there.
And Uckers.com. You can buy it directly from our online store as well. So yeah.
Good stuff.
Fantastic. That does my Christmas list. Yay.
Right, now going back to the chat and the topic of Discord, our good friend of the show, Mango, who we all love, we've met Mango in person as well, haven't we? So I've got a question, Maturin. Would you mind if I came into the Discord and my friend Mango, and that'll get our numbers up by 2, and we'll be very well behaved.
No, really?
No naughty boy behaviour.
Oh my goodness, what I have to deal with
Which
every single
everybody's
day.
well behaved. I am absolutely staggered just how nice people are within the Discord group.
They are
we
so
sort
lovely. Is that because
I've had so many
is that because
messages.
you've been policing it? That I've always wanted to ask. Is that because you've been keeping everyone in line?
Well,
Because
I think
sometimes we
we
get
actually
naughty
benefit-
comments on YouTube, but on Discord, everyone is
Yeah.
always well behaved.
We've had a couple where producer Phil has dived in, and we have a couple of moderators as well, Friar Tuck and Jugger, sort of keep a watchful eye out. But generally speaking, everybody's on track talking about trading, and it's a fun group.
Fantastic.
I must admit,
I would be honoured if you'll have me. My good friend Mango and I will come in there this afternoon. I'll have to come up with a smart name.
Well, I think we should actually get producer Phil to
Scottish
do
man.
a poll on whether we should allow you in. So.
Yeah, no, that's the poll of the day.
Mango, thank you for your gifts. We still have them here, and we see the gifts every day. Do join in, because don't be a silent listener. Maturin, I need to ask, because I know our styles are very different. We like clipping away, and I like trading and investing in the quiet when I can actually think. And Rich has got nerves of steel when he does it live on air, but I kind of need like quiet space for that. But do you have stop losses, and do you clip away like I do? 5 trades, 6 trades a day, and then I take it off.
Well, one of my absolute rules is to never enter a trade without a stop loss. That is absolutely fundamental. As you know, I'm actually studying for the diploma. Thank you, Ange. You gave me 7 months of work to go through, so I'm studying for the diploma for the Society of Technical Analysts, and so therefore I use lines of support, resistance, trend lines, whatever. Scotty has been teaching us on Discord how to use ATR to define stop losses, and also to call out exit points as well.
Yeah, take profit.
So yeah, absolutely, stop losses all the way, every time.
And that actually comes back to the books. So there's 3 tribes that people are part of when they're losing money. Okay, so when you're down in a position, you get the assassin. And you've just described an assassin, always having that stop loss, very mechanical. If it hits the stop loss, boom, the position's gone. And so you'll never have that big capital drawdown that we see is the killer at the end of the day. Then there's the hunter. And the hunter is somebody who, like I'm trying to do in Oracle just now, when it comes down, you've sized the position correctly in the first place. So then you can buy in an average lower. So you've still got the conviction in the position. The story hasn't changed. And that was a really strong message that came across yesterday. It's all about whether the story has changed since you first had the idea in the first place. So when the stock then rallies, then you've been a hunter and you've brought your average price down. But then the worst of all, Ange, the rabbit. When you're stuck in the headlights and you've dug a hole for yourself and you've buried yourself in the hole and you just hide, a rabbit's somebody who does nothing. They don't cut the position, they don't add to it, they just are frozen. And that's the mentality that really has to be changed in those losing positions.
I'm in
We
between
had a
assassin
very
and
interesting
hunter.
post a couple of weeks ago on Discord, which was, when does a losing trade actually become a justification for it becoming a long-term investment? But it's true. But it's true.
There must be another category. Those that when they're losing position. I can't believe this. Nothing about the chart says this is a good idea, and then they double down. Have you seen those where they have no conviction, but they just go, "I'm going to go in for more."
Yeah.
But that comes back to whether the story has changed or not, right?
Yeah.
Go on, Maturin.
No, I think the whole thing about getting it right, and it's really good that you have these pigeonholes, rabbits, assassins, etc., because you can actually adjust your style to what you want to be. And I want to be an assassin. I don't want to be a rabbit.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, to find out what the other two tribes are when you're winning, then we're going to be releasing the podcast about 3 p.m. this afternoon, and it is a really good one. I shut up. There's no bear argument, or there's no arguing from me and Spice. It's all about Lee Freeman Short and the advice that he has, because this is all statistical number of trades, and it's over, I think, a 7-year period, but it's the top investment managers in the country, and he's analysed all their trades. And there's quite an interesting insight into how many trades actually work of the best investors in this country. So that will be released about 3 p.m., 3:30 this afternoon, and it will be a good one. Might be one of our best, actually.
Well, post it on Discord too, so you don't miss it. And don't forget, you can get it on the YouTube channel as well. Steve CDR saying, yep, I'm in the worn often. I think I'm more of an assassin, because quite often Rich will say, like, I love it. I love it when I come back to my trading platform and it's all done because I know my stop losses have all worked.
Yeah, you wake up in the morning and
clean slate.
they're all gone. They've all hit the stop.
It gives you comfort, really.
It does.
That stop loss gives you an absolute loss figure.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, it actually drops through that, which has happened a couple of times, but that's the purpose of guaranteed stop losses, I guess. But also the mentality has to be that once you've placed that trade, whatever that stop loss figure is in terms of monetary terms, you kiss that goodbye. If it comes back as a profit, that's a big bonus.
Well, R6N has got a good question for you there. How do you deal with the stock bouncing straight away after it's hit the loss and gone? Psychologically. That
is the killer. The number of times that I've had trades, Bill Blaine says himself, the market is out to cause you as much pain as possible. And it really does. When it just hits that stop loss or just one pip below and shoots off, but you've got to move on. Forget it.
About 25 years in the business, the more you dwell on those, the more chance there is you'll miss the next opportunity.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I've seen time and time again is you think you've missed an incredible opportunity, there's always another one.
Yeah.
Absolutely, always another one.
Can I just say something, Rich, with regards to that, because this is really important. If you write down your trades and then have a set time, maybe each week or each month, and go through the trades that you've lost, you can then amend your rules to try and reduce the odds of you failing next time. Now, I did that. I still do that quite regularly, and sometimes I have to adjust the mentality of the amount of stop loss I'm putting on. If you go too tight, you're going to hurt. But currently, I work to a minimum of 2 ATR.
Right.
Now, this week, I've been blown away on several trades, and it might very well be that from my analysis later on today, that for the coming weeks, that changes to 2.5 or 3.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Relative to the volatility.
Paul,
Yes.
I'd love to get a sense from you too, because I'm trying to develop a different type of Excel spreadsheet that also quantifies how much I am giving back in terms of FX per trade, FX cost per trade. And for each different financial instrument, because you like myself, you trade anything that looks like it's going your way. The FX does, if you do little and often, does suddenly add up. So I'd love to get your thoughts whether or not you've quantified that.
Well, I actually move away from FX now because I think it can be extremely expensive if you are trading, and it also tends to use a lot of margin as well. So I tend to avoid that to a certain degree. The other thing as well around costs is the spread of the trade. And one of my rules is do not place a trade on if you're going to start off 5% behind. That is pretty crucial. IG is pretty good. Its spreads are pretty tight on most things. I know other people trade on other platforms and they don't get the same good measure as such. But knowing full well that you're going to be 10 or 15% down can be really painful and can stop you making a profit. A key example of this, actually, Rich, was the Smarter Web Company.
Yeah, that's
when it first came out. When you first called it to everybody's attention, I think back in April, I couldn't trade it because the spread was 20%. Yeah, and so I actually bought it into my SIP and made an absolute killing with it. Loved it. Watched it go all the way up. Was scaling in regularly, and came out, I think, around about 480. Phew. Because my rule stated once it crossed the 20 MA, get out of it.
Right, on the way down. Okay.
On the way down. Great. And so therefore, I took a real nice win out of that one.
And what did you end up doing with that?
Bought a car.
Nice. That's nice. A smarter vehicle.
Yeah. So we have a big question here, which you answered earlier on already, so I think the person that asked it was it Steve or someone else? If you go to the start of the interview, Maturin did explain the reason for his mantle. You'll hear that. We have also a poll, Rich.
Yes. I don't think we did actually, Ange. It was off screen.
Oh, was it off screen? Let's have a go. Let us know. Go for it.
Well,
go. Tell us.
One of my favourite authors is a guy called Patrick O'Brien, who wrote the Master and Commander series books. There's about 21 books. You might remember a Russell Crowe film a couple of years ago, actually probably about 12, 15 years ago. And it's sort of set in the Admiral Nelson era. And there was a character in the books called Stephen Maturin, who was played by Paul Bettany in the film. And in the books, which I love dearly and I've read many times, that is my favourite character. So I sort of picked that up as my login to most accounts as such, as my handle.
So Stephen Maturin is no doubt a composite of many medical men who served in the Royal Navy, both during and after the Napoleonic Wars.
He was a spy as well. He worked for the British government as a spy.
Something you want to tell us?
Really interesting character.
Paul, something you want to tell us there?
Fantastic. Never asked that question. So where do we close tonight on the Nasdaq was our poll earlier on. 34% of you think we're going lower, but not too much lower. Just down another percent, but breaking the big support level. Then 29% you think that we bounce. finish around about where we are. 27% think of you that we close on the lows, and only 10% of you think that we finish the day at the highs. Tricky.
Yes, very tricky. Well, time will soon tell. Thank you very much, everyone. And of course, big round of applause to Paul as well, maturing. Do we let Rich in on the Discord? Oh, go on then, 58% there. Only time will tell, 28%, 14%.
You just scraped in there, Rich.
Well, I don't know. Only 36 votes. I don't know if that's good enough.
You'll be very welcome. You'll be very welcome.
Thank you so much, Mango and Boise and Friartuck, and of course Jugger as well, and all our guests this week.
One quick
Steve.
mention was Scotty Lotto was in the chats there saying, when it gets down to a level, be very careful to watch the volume, and that can end up giving you an indication. That is very true, because I remember we were selling a stock called ShopRite for about 3 months. And what happens as the stock goes lower and lower, 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 you end up getting, somebody gets the feel that the end of the order's there, they come in and the banks do a big cross, and that comes up as huge volume, but that means it's the end of the seller, and then you get a bounce. So you're absolutely right, Scotty Lotto, that's worth watching.
Brilliant stuff. Have a good weekend, everyone. Maturing, thank you. And whatever you're doing from Rich and myself, may the odds be in your favor.
And who's next?
cash returns